Hello, everyone. I'm Sheldon Barlett Rumor, and this is it. Welcome back to This Is It TV. It is always a pleasure to chat with my dear friend. I'd love for him to reintroduce himself, his first and last name, and all he's up to.
Sheldon, I'm Louis Bezich, men's health advocate, contributing writer to phillyvoice.com, and of course, the author of Crack the Code, 10 Proven Secrets that Motivate Healthy Behavior and Inspire Fulfillment in Men Over 50. How are you?
I am so good. I am so good. You know, we like to cheat a little and we like to talk a little before we talk a little. And I'm so excited about this one because I really believe that this is going to help a ton of people. What are we chatting about today?
Well, Sheldon, I think as everybody can relate to, particularly as we enter and move through middle age, that our brain health is kind of important. We can't find our keys. As you just point out, I've opened the refrigerator door. Now, what was it that I was like going to get out of the fridge? We all have those little moments, and it makes us think about our cognitive skills. And so it's an important issue today. And the good news is, and this will sound familiar to those who watch us all the time, is that our healthy behaviors can really have a powerful influence on our brain health. Yes, lifestyle influences and can improve cognition. And that's a study that's coming out from the Alzheimer's Association, getting a lot of publicity because it's so meaningful, I think, to a lot of folks.
I agree. I agree. And I think maybe even defining a little bit what lifestyle kind of means. I think that we
Right.
use it fluidly, right? It's your lifestyle, it's your lifestyle. But if you could give some insight, right? You're like, people are
Sure.
like, am I living a good lifestyle? What is a
Sure.
lifestyle? What do you define lifestyle as? And we can have a little bit of a conversation about what that looks
Sure. Well, let's break it down to very fundamental buckets. We've got diet and exercise, right? On the exercise scene, obviously you want some kind of a combination of aerobic activity, get that blood flowing. And that could be as simple as just walking around the block. You could be more ambitious and start to run and jog and do 5K races and like we talk about all the time.
like.
And then also a few days a week, some physical activity with resistance training, weight training, that type of thing to keep your muscles taut. So that's up the fundamentals. We can get beyond that and get go online. You'll see all sorts of ways to exercise in terms of your physical. And then there's your diet. There's a ton of diets out there. I'm a big subscriber, particularly for us 50 plus men, in what we call the Mediterranean diet, because you don't have to be a vegetarian. You can eat a little bit of meat once in a while. You just want to have your plate, dominated by vegetables and other plant-based foods and things of that nature. And that most of the folks that I follow and most of the science that I subscribe to suggest that a plant-based diet, but a Mediterranean diet, if you want to check it out, allows you a little bit of latitude.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And then the diet, your exercise, your behaviors, right? We talk about, making sure that we're surrounded by individuals that are positive within our lives and things that we
Absolutely.
can do
Right.
that all aids in it, right? I think that
Oh
so
yeah.
many times we're like diet only, that's going to get me to where it is that I am. But I know a lot of people that have a very good diet and not a very good lifestyle.
Right. Well, we talk all the time, and,
Yeah.
and my book is about motivation. And
Yeah.
where do you get that motivation to lead a healthy lifestyle? From your social and your emotional relationships, right? If you've got, and we've talked about the Harvard study on adult development and other, clinical studies over the years that proves that the better your relationships are, your interpersonal values and the value you get from those relationships, the better chances you have to lead a healthy lifestyle. One goes with the other. It gives you purpose. It gives you your why to live healthy. And so the two absolutely go hand in hand.
Hand in hand. And we know we always talk about when we're talking about health, we always think about it as it relates to the physicality of it, right? You
Right.
want to be able to just keep moving. You want to be able to feel good, heart healthy, all these types of things. But cognitively, I think is really important. And I love that we're bringing this up, that all the things in which we're talking about helps in the way in which we think, the way in which we interact, the way in which we communicate, which tends to get depleted, I would even say, or it tends to be a little bit more of a struggle as we age, right?
Well, think about what's most important in all of our lives is
Yeah.
the quality of our lives, right?
Quality.
And the quality of life really, points to our ability to communicate, our ability to enjoy those social relationships,
Right.
our ability to function day to day. If
Yeah.
that begins to diminish, it diminishes our quality of life. And I would suggest to you, children, that it then begins potentially, particularly as we age, to put burdens on our loved ones.
Pardon
And
my
we've all had, situations perhaps in our lives with our parents and such as they get, into the later, 80s and 90s and such. At least I have, where when dementia kicks in and other factors like that, it can really, become challenging. And so it's quality of life, it's reducing burdens on loved ones, which I think we all want to do,
for sure.
and just, creating more fun and activity.
Fun and activities. And this is something for everybody to think about for themselves, but also I think you had mentioned with loved ones, I'm part of the sandwich generation, as many of us are,
Absolutely.
that
Sure.
have, adult parents that, both of my parents just celebrated their 80th birthday, and that was just lovely and absolutely wonderful. But then I also have a 14-year-old and I also
Right.
have an 8-year-old, right? And so I sit right in the middle, concerned about everyone's health. And so these are things where we're keeping what I could, my mommy, right? Active. We're making sure that she's thinking critically. We're making sure she's attending events. We're making sure that they're participating in conversations and family functions. This is all part of the lifestyle, especially for the individuals that are in your life. How are they living? Are they living? Amazing. But how are
Right.
they living? More importantly.
Yep, absolutely. We've got a growing gap in this country between our lifespan and our health span, right? The
Yeah.
lifespan is how many
Oh,
years we live. Our health span is how many years we live with
good.
quality health, able to enjoy those extra years of life. And so, these cognitive skills are a critical part of that health span so that we live healthy and enjoy stuff. And the other thing I would mention to you is that the study shows reinforces prior studies that have been done on cognitive skills and the impact of exercise. So, that consistency is important. And the studies also show, Sheldon, that even a small amount of physical activity and a little bit of a better diet can have an impact. So you don't have to go out and start running marathons tomorrow. Walk around the block, put
Yeah.
down the cupcake.
Yes.
Just a little bit of discipline and a little bit of healthy behavior can go a long way here for your brain as well as your body.
I love that for your brain as well as your body. I love that it's the lifespan, but really celebrating the health span of what it is that you have going on.
Absolutely.
So good. I told you all that this was going to be a good one. This is something that we all need to pay attention to and share and make sure that more people know about what my dear friend is talking about. If people want to get in touch with you, if they want to follow, fan, and like you, as I like to say, where do they find that information?
On social media, Sheldon, they can reach me at Louis Bezich. My website, louisbezich.com, will fill you in on what's going on in my world. A new book in the works, Saving Men from Themselves. More to
Oh,
come on that going up.
geez.
And for those of you who are in the area where we live in southern New Jersey, I've got a TED Talk coming up that you can
Ah,
get the details on. So a lot going on in my world of healthy behavior.
oh my goodness. Well, congratulations to you. I'll be front row as it relates to that. Always, always, when there's an opportunity to listen to you speak, an opportunity to hear what you have to share, it's always worthwhile. Thank you so much for joining me from all
Thank
of
you.
at This Is It TV. I'm Sheldon Barlett Rumor, and we will see you soon. Take care.